cyclist on the news, and he'd had some footage from front and back on his bike, and he used the phrase that he'd been punishment passed. And, you know, we've spoken about cyclists and road users and drivers over the years in many different ways, but I've never heard the phrase punishment passed.
A punishment pass, well, certainly, as I said, the Sunshine Coast is a cycling mecca. There's so many roads around here. 99% of the people passing you in cars can pass fine. They either slow down, go over the other side of the road, or cross the line. A punishment pass, from my experience, and the experience is pretty low, it's only 5 years riding, is when someone does come up and their right-hand tyres are on the white line, and as they're passing you, they actually pull in left. So they're cutting across you as they pass. And normally this is done at quite a considerable speed.
So there's a deliberate turn to get closer to the cyclist.
Yes, and unfortunately I ride with front and rear cameras now, and you can actually see with slow motion that the wheels are coming closer to you as they pass, only because I have many videos of cars passing fine. Or
why would they want to punish you?
Well, cycling and the general public is a pretty conscientious issue. A lot of people have justifications for people that use bikes not to be on the road. There are 101 different things. For example, I ride a motorbike, which I've done for 25 years. I also drive a car, so it gives you a good perspective of vulnerability on those two different modes of transport. Cycling is just another different mode of transport. I'm only going out for a couple of rides a week. I might do 100 kilometres all up, which sounds a lot if you don't ride, but if you are a cyclist, it's not a lot at all.
You're now filming this. What power does that give you?
It doesn't give me any power. What cameras do, unfortunately, give my wife and my 3 children some closure on the day that I do get hit.
Really? Wow. Can you just explain what you just said there?
Well,
you think it's inevitable?
If you see me now, I've got a T-shirt on that says Smithy on it. It was part of the Victorian campaign that said enough is enough, with motorcyclists, people not seeing motorcyclists or saying, sorry mate, I didn't see you. That's what Smithy is. Now, we've got the same kind of issue with cycling. People will put up their hands up in the air and say, well, I didn't see you, I didn't know. Unfortunately, I started off riding in Victoria, so I've only been up here since April. Now, a lot of my experiences are from Victoria, which doesn't have a split rule. Queensland does have the split passing rule, and unfortunately, the education on that is
the metre 0.5 distance.
The 1.5 over 60 kilometres an hour, which basically, my problem is that there is not a lot of ongoing education on this matter. I'm not out to dob in people. I would rather just pass fine. I'm not out to get anybody. I'm just out for my own safety. And
but you think one day you will be hit?
Oh, I know one day I'm going to be hit. It's just a matter of when. And then you ask, well, why do you do it? And unfortunately, once you sort of get the bike bug, most of the roads are fine. I use a mirror as well. It's another issue that people say, well, you should be using a mirror. I do use a mirror because I'm slightly deaf. I can see what's coming from behind. I can make a judgment. I'm looking where I'm going. I'm looking for my front wheel, where it's going on the road, my position. At the same time, I'm looking down at the mirror, looking for the car behind, and trying to second guess what they're going to do. And as I said, 99% of the time I have no issues. People, you can judge if they're going to slow down. Other times, they're barreling through, there's an oncoming car, and then you've got to judge how much space I have on the left-hand side if I need to bail.
What about locations on the coast? You said it's a mecca. Should there be areas maybe in windy hinterland roads that aren't really good spots where there's a lot of passing room for cyclists and drivers to share, that maybe we should rethink where this cycling is done? Or does everyone have the same right?
I can understand your point. A lot of people say that don't ride on narrow roads, don't ride on this road, don't ride on roads over 60 kilometres an hour. At the end of the day, the only justification to back that up is if you don't think bikes are part of the road system. which they are.
Should bikes pay registration?
Pardon?
Should bikes pay registration?
I would love to pay registration on my push bike. I would have no problem, and the cyclists I know having some sort of number plate, if it guaranteed me space.
And respect, which maybe it wouldn't.
Well, there's that other thing. Respect.
Do you have insurance as a cyclist?
I do have insurance with Bicycle Queensland, and I have insurance for my 3 children and my wife,
Life insurance?
which is liability insurance, which is less than $200 a year for all 5 of us.
And the insurance you have is a what? Is it the coverage if you're hit? Your
No.
medical bills are covered, or what is the insurance?
No, it's public liability. If I hit someone, the likelihood of me hitting and killing a motorist is pretty much zero.
Yeah.
So there's no this rego debate. There's only 2 issues that what we call them haters, the people that just anti-bike no matter what, is rego and accountability. If it's an accountability issue, that's a police issue. They're the only ones that can stop it. People do get fined on bikes if the police are around.
I think the thing with drivers that don't respect not just cyclists but other drivers. I mean, there is that element in the driving community. They'll tailgate you, they'll overtake you on double lines, and that's just me as a driver seeing that. And I guess as you get older, you got a fine or 2 along the way. You learnt your lesson. You started to be a more considerate driver. Maybe you had a crash. Maybe it changed the way you drove because you then knew how dangerous it can be. Is it ever going to change? You know, are those drivers ever going to be gone?
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to change. But it takes someone like myself, who's an average Joe. I'm not a thin guy. I don't shave my legs. I still smoke cigarettes. As a recreational cyclist and also transport. That if the government and the police are more proactive with ensuring people do know what to do. A lot of people are just ignorant, and a lot of the passes I know are pure ignorance. A lot of the passes I would not pass on to the police because I know that they didn't mean it so much, but I can see they made an effort. The basic, if a lane is around 3.2 meters wide, your car is around 2 meters wide with your left-hand mirror. So if your left-hand wheel, you're driving along, your left-hand wheel is in the right-hand wheel track of that road when you pass a cyclist, you're generally fine. People just don't know how to judge distance. If you don't know how to judge distance, just pass fully in the other lane.
If it's safe to do so.
If it's safe to do so. And that brings me on to my second point with oncoming cars. If there's an oncoming car on a cyclist, if you are going to pass that cyclist fully in the lane or even with your right-hand wheels on the white line, you are well into that 1.5 meters. And it's not a question of getting measuring tapes out and being pedantic about it. It's the reason why people need to pass wide. When you get past wide closely with a car or a truck, there's an awesome amount of wind that comes off the front of that.
And if you can't do it, wait until you can.
You slow down. The legislation is very basic.
Cameron Frew is here. He's a cyclist. He's come up with the phrase punishment passing for drivers that go past too quickly or too close to him as a cyclist. A couple of questions just about other cyclists and cyclists interacting together on the road. Often you'll get these, what are they called, a group of cyclists?
Peloton.
You'll get them going early in the morning. How about, what are the rules with those groups passing single cyclists? Are there the same 1.5 rules?
I don't think there is any written rule, but it's just basic etiquette, I think. I've been passed by a large group of cyclists on Nickland Way who were very fast, much faster than me, and came past very close. And they stopped at the lights, and I actually, bailed them up at the lights.
What did you say?
Well, I can't really tell you on the radio what I said, but it was along the lines of, I know you guys are going faster, but for goodness sake, give some room. I don't generally ride in groups. I ride alone, and
because side-by-side riding is another issue. Really, a lot of people see that as a problem too, where you have. Is it two? Maximum of 2 in a lane? You can't go more than that? You
can ride, as I said again, I don't ride in groups generally, but...
Because they'll grow more than that.
There's 1.5 metres. You're not supposed to ride more than 1.5 metres apart in twos. Right. There can be a third person if they're overtaking those 2. And being being two abreast actually gives you more visual. When you are riding so close to the fog line, you actually blend in with the side of the road often, especially in the country. So it's difficult to see.
Well, there's lots there, lots for us to think about, lots for us to keep talking about. We haven't got any more time, Cameron, but thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Rob.
I'll, keep an eye on things. Let me know if there's
Watch out for me on the roads.
Well, and that's the big message, isn't it? No one wants to be dealing with a
Fantastic. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Cameron Frewer with us this morning here on the ABC. It's 7:30.